Hey, guys, welcome back to Benefit Genius. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most common questions I hear. How much do you really need to retire at the age of 60? If you're among the 41% of Americans who feel they might not have enough saved for retirement, then this video is for you. We're going to break down the numbers, clear up some misconceptions, and look at realistic, personalized ways to figure out your retirement needs. Before we get started, please take a moment to subscribe to Benefit Genius and hit that notification bell so you never miss our updates on Social Security, retirement planning, and financial trends that affect your future. Let's dive right in. Many of you start planning for retirement with a feeling of uncertainty. You wonder if your savings will be enough, or if you're falling behind compared to the rest of the country. Research shows that 41% of people believe they do not have enough money to retire, which means you are not alone if you feel worried about your financial future. This statistic alone should serve as a wake-up call that effective planning is essential. Now, when we talk about retirement savings, the numbers we often hear can be misleading. For instance, some studies say the average savings at age 60 is around $537,000. But averages can be deceptive because a few very large accounts can skew the number upward. The median savings, which gives us a better picture of what most people have, is actually closer to $200,000. If you have more than $200,000 saved by the time you're 60, you're actually ahead of the curve compared to many Americans. Many people also rely on what is known as the 8x rule when estimating their retirement needs. This rule suggests that you multiply your annual expenses during your working years by 8 to determine the total nest egg you need to retire. So, if your annual expenses are $100,000, then by that rule, you would need $800,000 to retire. However, that rule is based on the assumption that your expenses will remain the same in retirement, which is often not the case. In reality, many of your expenses are likely to decrease once you retire. For example, you might have your mortgage paid off, your children might be out of the house, or tuition payments might no longer be a burden. Because of these changes, your actual retirement expenses could be significantly lower than what you were spending during your working years. Let's say your expenses drop to 75% of what they were while you were working. In that case, if you were spending $100,000 per year, you'd only need to cover $75,000 in retirement. This reduction can dramatically change your retirement savings target. If you adjust the 8x rule to 75% of your current expenses, the total amount you need to retire can be much lower than the original estimate. Many financial advisors now suggest using a more conservative multiplier, such as a 5x rule, particularly if your expenses will decline. For instance, if your retirement expenses are $75,000 per year, a 5x rule implies that you would need $375,000 in savings. That number is much more attainable for many people. But, of course, there is more to the picture than just the savings number. Social Security plays a huge role in your retirement income. If you earn over $100,000 a year, you might receive roughly $2,500 a month in Social Security benefits. That amounts to about $30,000 per year in benefits. This income can significantly reduce the amount you need to draw from your personal savings. For example, if your adjusted retirement expense is $75,000 a year, and Social Security provides $30,000, you only need to fund a gap of $45,000 annually from your savings. And if you're married and both spouses receive Social Security, that gap could shrink even further, potentially to as little as $30,000 per year. This reduced gap makes it far more feasible to retire on a smaller nest egg than many conventional rules suggest. Now, it's important to remember that these calculations are based on assumptions, such as the idea that your expenses will indeed drop once you retire. They also assume a certain rate of return on your investments and a sustainable withdrawal rate over your retirement years. For many, these assumptions may be overly conservative or sometimes even overly optimistic. That's why a personalized retirement plan is so crucial. Working with a financial advisor who understands your unique situation can help you determine the right savings target and withdrawal strategy for your retirement. Let's look at a practical example. Imagine you're 60 years old and planning to retire soon. While you were working, your annual expenses were $100,000. After retiring, you anticipate that your expenses will drop to $75,000 per year because your home is paid off and other costs decrease. On top of that, suppose you're eligible for Social Security benefits amounting to $30,000 per year. This leaves you with a gap of $45,000 per year that you need to fund from your own savings. If you assume a 5% sustainable withdrawal rate from your retirement savings, you would need around $900,000 to cover that gap. However, if your actual expenses end up being even lower than $75,000, say $60,000 per year, and Social Security still covers $30,000, then your gap is only $30,000. At a 5% withdrawal rate, that means you might only need around $600,000 in savings. This is a dramatic difference that can change how you approach your retirement planning. It illustrates why relying solely on rules of thumb like the 8x rule can lead to overestimating your needs. In reality, your lifestyle and spending habits in retirement might allow you to retire comfortably with a smaller nest egg. Many people get caught up in the fear of not having enough, which causes them to work extra years and sacrifice the retirement lifestyle they deserve. That's why it's so important to have a realistic view of your expenses and to plan accordingly. In addition to recalculating your expenses, it's essential to consider how inflation might impact your savings over time. Even if you manage to retire with a certain amount of money, inflation will erode the purchasing power of your savings unless your investments continue to grow. Historically, inflation has been a hidden tax on our money, reducing its value year after year. To counteract this, it's important to invest in assets that have the potential to outpace inflation, such as stocks, real estate, or even commodities like gold. Diversifying your portfolio can help ensure that your savings maintain their value and provide you with the income you need during retirement. Now, let's address another common misconception. Many financial advisors talk about the 8x rule as if it's the golden standard for retirement planning. But the reality is that this rule is a very rough estimate that doesn't take into account the changes in expenses that typically occur after you retire. By using more realistic models, like adjusting your expenses to account for a drop in costs, and factoring in Social Security, you can often find that you need significantly less saved than you might have feared. The key is to take a holistic look at your financial situation and to build a retirement plan that reflects your unique circumstances. One way to start is by tracking your current expenses and projecting how they might change over time. Consider areas where your spending is likely to decrease, such as commuting, professional wardrobe, or dining out during workdays. At the same time, be realistic about expenses that might increase, like healthcare costs in later years. By understanding these trends, you can create a more accurate estimate of your retirement needs. It's also vital to periodically review and adjust your retirement plan as your circumstances change. For example, if you receive a bonus, a raise, or unexpected expenses, you should update your projections to ensure that you remain on track. This is why working with a knowledgeable financial advisor can be so beneficial. They can help you navigate these complex calculations and ensure that you're not working extra years unnecessarily. Remember, the goal of retirement planning is to secure a lifestyle that allows you to enjoy your golden years without financial stress. It's not about having the largest nest egg possible, but about having enough to meet your needs and give you peace of mind. If you already have more than $200,000 saved by the time you turn 60, you're already ahead of the median. But what really matters is how well your savings and investments can support your lifestyle over the long term. By carefully planning, diversifying your investments, and maintaining a realistic view of your expenses, you can create a retirement plan that works for you. I'd love to know, what have you calculated as your retirement goal? Have you been using a rule of thumb, or have you taken a more detailed look at your expenses and income streams? Please share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Benefit Genius and turn on notifications so you never miss another update on financial trends, Social Security news, and retirement strategies. Thank you for watching. Remember, the key to a secure retirement is not just in saving money, but in understanding your unique financial needs and planning accordingly. Take care, stay prepared, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you soon.